Hey family, welcome back to the channel where we talk about money, real estate in the Carolinas. And I'm your go-to real estate expert here in Charlotte, North Carolina. With over a decade of experience in business regarding flipping houses, the residential real estate stuff, and as a practicing real estate attorney, I've helped thousands of families move to the Carolinas. And today we're diving into something that could save you thousands of dollars and tons of stress. We're talking about the top mistakes first-time homebuyers make when moving to the greater Charlotte area and how you can avoid them. We just need smooth sailing. All right, let's get into it. Let's jump into mistake number one. Now this one is a bit of a heartbreaker. It's skipping the mortgage pre-approval process. Now be sure to stick around because I have an additional tip at the end, because if you ignore it, it could be greatly detrimental to your home buying process and it will not be as smooth as you want it to be. We'll get to that. Let's jump into skipping the mortgage pre-approval process. Picture this. You fall head over heels for a gorgeous home in South End. Now South End is just outside of Uptown and you're already planning your first housewarming party. But guess what? Another buyer that's pre-approved and ready to go swoops in and snatches it up. That hurts. Getting pre-approved isn't just a nice to have in this market. It is a must-have in Charlotte's competitive real estate market. Sellers want serious buyers and pre-approval letters show you mean business. Now, pre-approval is different than pre-qualification. Do not get it twisted. Some people come to me with a pre-qual letter thinking that means they're ready to go shopping. No, that means you told the lender or the banker how much you make, told them about what your credit score is, and then they offered this based on the data you gave them. A pre-approval is they dive in to your bank records. They see how much you make. They see your debts, and then they give you a pre-approval for what you can afford. One of my clients, Michael, he had to learn this the hard way. He found the perfect home in Dilworth, but without pre-approval. He didn't listen to my advice, and he lost out. Don't be like Michael. Get pre-approved first. Now on to mistake number two. Underestimating the total cost of buying a home. See, it's easy to focus on the list price, but let's talk reality. Between property taxes, which have gone up in the Charlotte area, HOA fees, which we can't seem to get away from, rising insurance costs, and closing costs, the numbers start to add up pretty fast. Let me break it down. Charlotte's hot neighborhoods like Ballantyne, South Park, and if you go to the outskirts of Charlotte, Matthews, Fort Mill, Tegakay, often come with HOA fees that cover fantastic amenities. Think pools, gyms, also parks, but they can also stretch your budget. So if you don't factor that in, you may not be able to get approved for that community or that house in that community because your DTI, debt to income, is a little too tight. Now, Lisa and Tom, a couple I worked with in Plaza Midwood, also learned this the hard way. You see, they had budgeted for their mortgage, but forgot about closing costs. And by the time the moving expenses hit, they were stressed out. Pro tip, budget for hidden costs before you start your search. Plan to spend more money. Now it'll be my job to navigate us through a process that causes or allows you to bring least money out of pocket, but it's my job to advise. Just like I advised that couple and I advised Michael. Now yes, I believe you should listen to me because I have over a decade of experience and I've helped over 1,000 people move to the area, but you are your own person and you don't necessarily have to listen to my advice, but I'm trying to spare you heartache and pain and frustration throughout this home buying process. Real quick, if you're getting anything beneficial from this, please be sure to like this video and share it. It greatly helps the channel and I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers as soon as possible. I need your help to do so. Now, let's move on to mistake number three. And this one is a bit of a big one. The third mistake I find people making is ignoring the neighborhood vibe. You see, Charlotte is a city of contrast. Every neighborhood has its own personality. Are you a young professional? Well, notice nightlife might be your vibe, or maybe it's South End. Are you a young-ish professional, not quite ready to start a family, but you're not ready to move to the suburbs? Well, LoSo might be something you want to look at. Or right at the beginning of Still Creek might be a place you want to consider. Be honest with yourself and pay attention to the vibes of the neighborhood. Because if you're starting a family, you might want to check out Mint Hill or Huntersville or Fort Mill or Matthews, where they're excellent schools. Quick story, I had a client fall in love with Plaza Midwood for its artsy charm, but they didn't realize how noisy it got at nighttime. And after some sleepless nights, they had to move again. So do not make that mistake. When you see a neighborhood and fall in love with it, check it out at different times of the day, because it may be picturesque during the time you see it, but in the morning, is it loud? In the evening, is it loud? And can you deal with that? Can you tolerate that? So take time to explore the neighborhoods and see what the vibes are, because I don't want you to move to an area and then despise it a short time thereafter. And remember, your dream home isn't just about the house. It is about the lifestyle. See what I did there? Lifestyle. I am one of the partners and owners of Lifestyle International Realty. So if you're thinking about moving within or to the greater Charlotte area or the Carolinas, be sure to reach out to my team and I. Lifestyle International Realty, the firm, would love to help you. Now, the fourth mistake people overlook when they're buying their first property is overlooking the future resale value. Now, even if you think this is your forever home, life happens. You may have a kid. You may have to take in your family members. You may have to take in some in-laws. You may have to take in your niece or nephew. Your job may change. Plans evolve, and a solid investment now can pay off much later. So you want to look for homes near good schools, near major highways, and up and coming developments, to where it may not be everything you want right now, but you see the greater picture and you see what's coming, so you're able to take advantage of that upswing. You know, areas in the Charlotte region that there may be a new light rail extension or the new river district. You want to position yourself to take advantage of the appreciation, because you need to start thinking with the end in mind, even if you may believe this is your forever home. Now, I know I shared some stories about some clients that didn't quite listen to my advice, and it brought negative consequences. Now let me tell you about a client that listened to some advice of mine, and they bought a townhome near the link system, near the rail line. And their townhome jumped significantly in value as the area developed. So you want to keep an eye out on the long-term value. It's not about where you live now, but it is about what it could mean for you and your family's future. Now we're going to move on, but I want to touch on this as well. You see, Charlotte is a growing city. You have the Iron District, you have the Innovation District. You have these areas that are up and coming and that many people, the general public, don't know about. But if you partner up with an experienced real estate agent and a real estate advisor that can guide you and knows what's around the horizon, we might be able to scoop in, get a property at an amazing price, knowing that right around the corner, that accelerated appreciation is coming. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, because I will have a video coming out talking about 3 to 5 projects in the near future that will change the trajectory of Charlotte. I'm talking about huge projects. So be sure to subscribe so you can be aware of that video when it comes out. Let's do a quick recap of the top first-time homebuyer mistakes to avoid. Number 1 is skipping the mortgage pre-approval process. 2 is underestimating total closing costs. And in North Carolina, we have something called a due diligence fee. Due diligence fee only applies to about a handful of states in our country. Now, that is just the fee you have to pay as a buyer to go under contract. Now, when you pay that fee, you're never getting it back. So be sure that property you want is that property you want, because you're not getting back that due diligence fee. You also have the earnest money fee, as well as all the other fees that I mentioned earlier in the video. The third mistake first-time home buyers make here in the Charlotte area is ignoring the neighborhood vibe and overlooking the future resale value. They don't start with the end in mind. Now, the last thing I want to highlight that first-time home buyers make as a huge mistake is not working with a local real estate agent. Now, trust me, I understand that sounds very self-serving. But especially if you're buying new construction and or a resale home, You need an expert that has been through this process countless times, and they know how to advise you, coach you, and guide you through this. Because this is most likely one of your largest investments you will ever make. And it's a long commitment. Now, when you buy a home, now most people don't live in a home for 30 years, but they do stay in it 5 to 8 years. This is a long-term investment. You don't want to go into it willy-nilly or uninformed. So partnering up with a local real estate agent that is not just a local real estate agent, but an expert in the area will be beneficial to you. Now, I know that rules have come out and it says that buyers are responsible to pay the real estate agent. Let me give you a news break. In North Carolina, the buyer has always been responsible to pay for the real estate agent. But when you partner with an expert, I make sure that even though my buyer clients are responsible, I negotiate it into the contract to where only buyer clients of mine that have to come out of pocket are some of my investor clients. And I do mean some. I'm not even talking about all of them. And that's another video topic I can get into at a later date. But for the general public, I can say this unequivocally. They have never paid my real estate commission, even though since I've been licensed in North Carolina, the buyer has always been responsible. I've always been able to get the seller to pay it. So do not let these new rules or this doom and gloom regarding additional costs for buyers to scare you away from hiring and having not just competent, but expert representation when you go to buy your home. Now, these tips can make or break your home buying experience. You see, buying your first home is a huge milestone, and Charlotte and the Charlotte area is an incredible place to start. By avoiding these mistakes, you will set yourself up for success. Now, I have to caution you, buying a home is an emotional roller coaster. It is my job to put you in the best position to win and to minimize the stress. Now, will it be stress-free? Probably not. Because like I said, buying a home, making a big decision, a huge decision, does come with its challenges. Emotional, spiritual challenges. So make sure you surround yourself with wise counsel and encouraging people that will lead you along the way to help you accomplish your goal of home ownership. If this video gave you some value, hit that like button as it does help out the channel. I'm Sir Ashley, your real estate advisor. Talk soon.